expanded watches and warnings as Hurricane Irma gets closer to the Leeward Islands. And in sport, Barbados Tridents lose all hope of making it into the CPL playoffs. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, September 4th. I'll be back with the details in just a moment.
Coming up on 21st Century, surviving terrorism in Norway, and in northeast Nigeria, extremism and the struggle to rebuild.
The true story is, I just chose how I want to die. Do I want to drown? Do I want to get shot? Give us a bit of background. Where'd you come from?
Well, I live in Seattle, and I grew up in a family business and a bed pillow and down comforter manufacturing business, and grew up in that business. Still own and help manage that business, but starting other companies when I was very young, and am now basically I'm a technology entrepreneur and venture capitalist.
And you were
very
genius
lucky
to invest in a company
Yeah,
that
I was
maybe some
very
people have
lucky
heard of
to
called
have
Amazon.
Yeah, I was very.
Watches and warnings have been issued for more than a dozen Caribbean territories as Category 3 Hurricane Irma moves closer to the Leeward Islands. Hurricane warnings are now in place for Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Martin and St. Barts. A hurricane watch is in effect for Guadeloupe, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And Dominica is under a tropical storm watch, and interests in the Dominican Republic, Haiti and Turks and Caicos and the southeastern Bahamas have also been advised to monitor Irma's progress. At 11 a.m., Hurricane Irma, carrying maximum sustained winds near 120 miles per hour, was located 560 miles east of the Leeward Islands and moving towards the west-southwest at 14 miles per hour. Forecasters say a turn towards the west is expected later today, followed by a west-northwestward turn late tomorrow. On the forecast track, Irma will move near or over portions of the northern Leeward Islands tomorrow night and early Wednesday, possibly stronger. The impending storm has forced the delay of the reopening of schools in Antigua and Barbuda. Students were due to return to the classrooms today, but the Ministry of Education ordered all public educational institutions closed today and tomorrow because of the evolving uncertainty of Irma's path. Meanwhile, regional airline Liat has advised passengers that its network may be affected as a result of the storm, and passengers who have flights over the next week to the islands north of Dominica that may be in the projected path of the storm will be allowed to make changes to their reservations. Meantime, Bahamian authorities have warned they will aggressively investigate any price gouging ahead of a potential impact from Hurricane Irma. While the country is not currently under any watches or warnings at the moment, projections indicate it will be impacted by Irma heading into the weekend. And an official government statement warned retailers and wholesalers of essential items, particularly breadbasket food items, medical and prescription drug supplies, as well as hurricane preparedness items, that price gouging and hoarding of items for speculation or profiteering in the advent of a potential natural disaster are criminal offenses. Prime Minister Dr. Herbert Minnis has instructed the competent authority to start strict supervision, review and monitoring of the prices being charged for the items. In Trinidad and Tobago now, there are questions about the legality of Robert Leigh Hunt's second appointment as Minister of Public Utilities. Leigh Hunt was first appointed as Senator and Minister last week, but had that appointment revoked because he also had citizenship of Ghana, where he worked as a senior banker for several years. But within a few days, he was reappointed again after saying that he had renounced his citizenship. But a former minister has written to the government of Ghana to find out if that's really the case. We get more from CNC3's Ria Rambali.
Evan Mirage has written to Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration in his capacity as a former cabinet minister and political social activist. In a letter dispatched, Mirage informs Mrs. Shirley Ayoko Botchwe that Lahunt recently had his appointment revoked due to the fact that he was a citizen of Ghana. He then asks, quote, "Can you please confirm that Mr. Lahunt's Ghanaian citizenship was revoked within a mere 3 days and in accordance with the laws of Ghana, with a renunciation certificate being issued as required?" End quote. He also asks whether Mr. Lahunt was afforded any special treatment by the government of Ghana to expedite this process. According to Ghana's Ministry of Interior website, renunciation of Ghanaian citizenship takes approximately 2 weeks after the receipt of its renunciation form. Minister Lahunt appears to have rectified his situation in just a matter of days. CNC3 messaged Minister Lahunt for clarification on the timeline surrounding the renouncing of his Ghanaian citizenship, which he obtained during his time working in that country. He replied, quote, "My renunciation is complete and signed off by the relevant officials and minister in Ghana." End quote.
Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
Race 1 winner Brendan Leach would spin at the exit of turn 1. Gets offline, goes off into the grass. Here it is from his viewpoint. A couple of cones pay the price. Others have to take evasive action. One car crossing the track into the wet grass. As Leach went for that spin, Jordan Sherratt, Austin Kazuba, Rafael Forcier in the 62 lock horns as they race up to the keyhole. Everyone tiptoeing. They're still battling hard up front, though. But wait, there's more.
What made you want to start dealing with people's financial responsibilities? Like, why?
You know what, that's actually...
Is it stressful?
It is stressful, but I have to say probably the biggest problem, the biggest source of maybe stress for me is knowing that that person does have something that they can do about their problem, but for whatever reason they're not taking action. And it might be fear, it might be just overwhelm. That's why I'm there.
Welcome back. It's now time for sport. Opening batsman Evan Lewis's masterful stroke helped St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots pull off a historic 10-wicket victory last night, ending Barbados Trident's hopes of a spot in the playoffs of the Caribbean Premier League. Sent in to bat, Tridents posted 128 in their allotted 20 overs. Barbadian Tion Webster hit a top score of 32, while Trinidadian Nicholas Puran chipped in with 21 from 16 balls. Carlos Bradford picked up 4 wickets, while South Africa's Tony Shamsi had figures of 2 for 14. In reply, Lewis dispatched the Trident's bowlers all over Kensington Oval to hit the highest power play score in CPL history, that's 105 for 0 in 6 overs, as he combined with Chris Gale, who scored 22 from 14 balls. Lewis's knock of 97 from 37 balls included 11 massive sixes and 6 fours. Trident's loss meant Guyana Amazon Warriors sealed the final playoff spot. They face the Jamaica Tallawahs in the eliminator on Wednesday at the new Brian Lara Cricket Academy in South Trinidad. And Captain Jason Holder said he was pleased West Indies had gotten valuable batting practice in their 2-day tour match against Leicestershire, even though their hopes of giving their bowlers time in the middle ahead of next week's Lord's Test was foiled by bad light and rain. Only 73 deliveries were possible on the final day of the encounter at Grace Road before fading light and rain. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.